It's Monday, which means we gotta talk about everything that you can expect coming to Pokemon Go during this week. It's actually going to be a pretty big week for myself, and I'll talk about that later, but yeah, I think for the rest of us, there's actually a lot of things to look forward to. I'm going to be going over all the important details for this week in this video. Let's get right into it. Alright, how's it going everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So this week is going to be a pretty important week for myself, and the reason for that is because at the end of this week, I'm going to be attending Pokemon Go Fest in Jersey City. If you're going to be out there, I would really like to meet you, so make sure you stop by and say hi. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really good time. If it's any indication from everything that I've been seeing from Osaka, Japan, it's going to be phenomenal. I really do think one of the biggest things that Niantic does every single year is the live in-person events, and they do them extremely well. But aside from that, there's actually a lot of in-game content that you can look forward to, even if you're not attending Pokemon Go Fest. I think Niantic is going to be keeping us quite busy, and yeah, that's a pretty good thing, considering that overall, the content has been pretty good when it comes to Pokemon Go, I will say. The in-game events have been stellar, the content has been just very engaging, there's just a lot of very rewarding content, especially when it comes to raid battles, and yeah, I think this is a continuation of that. This is going to be a really solid week. So let's start things off by talking about the Serene Retreat event, because this is going to be a major in-game event that will last pretty much the entire week. The Serene Retreat event is going to start on Friday, May 30th at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until Tuesday, June 3rd at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. This is going to be the tie-in event to Pokemon Go Fest Osaka. Now, we're going to see the following wild encounters during this event. You're going to see Chansey, Marill, Furfrou, Cutiefly, Morlul, Komala, Hatenna, as well as some trainers might encounter Snorlax and Chimecho. These are going to be the Pokemon you will see in the wild, and pretty much every single one of them, except for Hatenna, can be shiny. So good luck out there, you might encounter a shiny if you're lucky. Now the following Pokemon will hatch from 2-kilometer eggs. You'll be able to get Chingling, Munna, Spritzee, and Swirlix. And yes, every single one of these can potentially be shiny. And then during this event, we're going to see the following Pokemon make its debut. Gigantamax Rillaboom will be in Gigantamax battles starting on Saturday, May 31st at 6 o'clock a.m. local time until Sunday, June 1st at 9 o'clock p.m. local time. There's also going to be collection challenges themed around the event spawns. That's something you should try to take care of really quickly because this is actually going to be a fairly short event. And then during this event, from Friday, May 30th until Tuesday, June 3rd, you're going to have the following bonuses in the game. You're going to be able to hatch eggs at half the distance. You're going to get 1.5 times the amount of experience when you hatch eggs. The max particle collection limit is going to be increased to 1600, and you're going to get 8 times the amount of max particles from power spots, and then you're going to have an increased chance to hatch shiny Munna as well as encounter shiny Munna in research task rewards. And then you're also going to have an increased chance to encounter shiny Morlul in the wild and in research task rewards. And then any trainer with a Serene Retreat ticket will also receive the following bonus for the duration of the event. You're going to get 1.5 times the amount of Stardust whenever you hatch eggs. And then during this event, you're going to see the following Pokemon in field research tasks. You're going to encounter Munna, Cutiefly, Morlul, Komala, as well as Hatenna. And just like I mentioned earlier, both Munna as well as Morlul are going to have a boosted shiny rate from field research tasks. And then finally, there's going to be a paid timed research for $1.99 USD or the equivalent pricing tier in your local currency. It's going to give you encounters with Munna, encounters with Morlul, as well as 2 super incubators. If you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny of either of those Pokemon. It's not necessarily worth it too much. I mean, you do get 2 super incubators, which is definitely going to go pretty far with this particular event because of the hatch bonuses, but aside from that, you're not really getting too much value out of this ticket. So I would hold off on buying this ticket unless you have $2 to spend, because you could definitely get a lot more value with other tickets. Now, at the end of the week, we're going to have another in-game event after the Serene Retreat event ends, and this is going to be the Instrumental Wonders event. Let's quickly talk about this, and then let's go over some of the weekly content. The Instrumental Wonders event is going to be starting on Saturday, June 7th at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's gonna go until Wednesday, June 11th at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. The following Pokemon are going to be spawning as wild encounters during this event: Meowth, Hoppip, Ferroseed, Galarian Stunfisk, Golett, and Tadbulb. And you're also going to have uncommon spawn rates of Chimecho, Beldum, and Phalanx. Now, the following Pokemon are going to be spawning in raids. In 1-star raids, you're going to see Meowth, Beldum, and Ferroseed, and then in 3-star raids, you're going to see Galarian Stunfisk as well as Phalanx. And the following Pokemon is going to be making its debut during this event, and it's going to be Gigantamax Cinderace. This is going to be available starting on Saturday, June 7th until Sunday, June 8th, and it's one you should definitely not miss out on. Now, just like the Serene Retreat event, there's going to be a collection challenge with the event-themed Pokemon, and there's also going to be the following bonuses during the event. You're going to get additional 5,000 experience whenever you successfully complete raids, and just like the other event, you're going to have the max particle collection limit increased to 1,600, and you're going to get 8 times the amount of max particles from power spots, and you're going to have an increased chance to encounter shiny Ferroseed as well as shiny Phalanx. And then if you buy the ticket for this particular event, it's going to give you 2 times the amount of Stardust whenever you complete raids. Now, these are going to be the field research task encounters. You're going to see Meowth, Chimecho, Ferroseed, and Phalanx. And just like I mentioned earlier, Ferroseed and Phalanx are going to have an increased shiny rate. And then we're also going to have a paid timed research just like the other event. It's going to give you encounters with Ferroseed, encounters with Phalanx, and then 5 premium battle passes, all for $1.99 USD. Now, I will say that this ticket is slightly more worth it, only because they're giving you more than $2 worth of premium battle passes, and when it comes to battle passes, you tend to have a lot more uses of them, so maybe this is the ticket that you would buy, but again, I will say that for $2, you could definitely get a lot more if you were to buy a Pokecoin bundle. Alright, let's switch gears and talk about this week's weekly content. So, for this Tuesday Spotlight Hour, we're going to be getting one featuring the Pokemon Spritzee, and it's going to have a double catch experience bonus, which is actually a pretty good bonus if you're looking to get experience. However, I will say that this is not necessarily a Spotlight Hour that's going to be that impactful, considering that it is not a 2 times catch candy bonus, or it's going to be a 2 times Stardust bonus. So you can probably skip this one out and save your Pokeballs for a different event. I think that's probably the better way to go. Next up, let's talk about the raiding content. So this week we're going to have the continuation of Tapu Bulu in raids, and that also means for this Wednesday's raid hour, we're going to have one featuring Tapu Bulu. That's going to be happening between 6 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. local time, in which every single raid battle is going to be a 5-star raid featuring Tapu Bulu. And then let's talk about what's going to be appearing in Mega Evolution raids. We're going to have Mega Altaria in Mega Evolution raids, and if you do not have the Mega Energy for this particular Pokemon, you should at least collect some to get the Pokedex entry. And then finally, on the weekend, we're going to have Shadow Regice in 5-star Shadow Legendary raids. It's a pretty decent one. I wouldn't skip out on it if you are able to do it. It's definitely worth at least one of your free daily raid passes, and I do think it's pretty good. And then next up, let's talk about the Dynamax content, which is actually going to be pretty lit this week. First and foremost, we will have a Max Monday featuring Chansey, which is going to be happening tonight from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time. But during the Serene Retreat event, we're actually going to be getting Gigantamax Rillaboom. And then later in the week with the Instrumental Wonders event, we're going to have Gigantamax Cinderace. These are very powerful Gigantamax Pokemon, and they're definitely going to be useful. I would try not to skip out on them if you are able to do so, because they are going to be definitely impactful for your account. And then finally, let's talk about PvP. And this is actually very important because the end of the season is actually going to be happening during this week. On Tuesday, June 3rd at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to see the end of the season, and you're going to be able to collect your end of season rewards. Make sure you pop a star piece before you go into the battle screen, because then you'll be able to collect the end of season rewards, and they usually come with a huge chunk of Stardust. But this is going to be the beginning of the season, which means we're going to have the Great League along with the Sunshine Cup Great League Edition. Those are actually some pretty decent leagues, and it's going to be a great opportunity for you to test out the new meta. But again, the major highlight is that the end of season rewards are going to be available this Tuesday. You do not want to miss out on it. Do not forget that star piece. It's actually very important. So yeah, overall, this is a really solid week of Pokemon Go content. We're getting some really good in-game events with the Serene Retreat event along with the Instrumental Wonders event. And then of course, for the few who are going to be in Jersey City, we of course have Pokemon Go Fest. I really do think that when it comes to the content, Niantic has been going all out. I really do not know if it's because of Scopely or if it's because they are now kind of decoupled from having to push AR technology, but I really do feel like a lot of what we've been getting in Pokemon Go has been extremely fun. So yeah, I hope it continues, especially now that we officially have Scopely as the owners of Pokemon Go. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if this continues onward for the next couple of weeks. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that's going to be happening this week down below. Is there anything in particular that you're really excited about? Is there something that you are looking forward to? Are you going to be attending Pokemon Go Fest in Jersey City? Make sure you say so down below, and hopefully I'll be able to see you there. And yeah, let's have a great discussion in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, if you want to support everything that I do, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. If you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go up there and give me a follow, and you'll have access to some exclusive content, and hopefully I'll be able to talk a lot better. Alright, well, anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.